Today we're going to share with you the true story of Alexia of Greece and Carlos Morales, a couple who proved that real love knows no boundaries, whether between royal palaces or ordinary families. Their love began in the capital of Catalonia and led to one of the most beautiful royal weddings in Europe at the end of the last century. Alexia of Greece, the eldest daughter of the last king and queen of Greece, Constantine and Anne-Marie, always stood out from other princesses. While her royal peers were busy searching for suitable matches among aristocrats, Alexia chose her own path. In the early 1990s, after studying for several years in London, she decided to continue her education in Barcelona, where she studied pedagogy and worked with children. It was there, in that cosmopolitan city by the Mediterranean Sea, that she met her destiny. Barcelona during those years was a special place for young people. The city was preparing for the Olympic Games of 1992 and was buzzing with life. Alexia spent a lot of time with her cousin, Infanta Cristina, and together they explored life in the Catalan capital, doing their best to blend in among ordinary students and young professionals. "We tried to go unnoticed and just enjoyed our youth," Alexia later recalled in one of her rare interviews. It was a wonderful time in their lives, a time when they could simply be young women, not princesses constantly under the media spotlight. And it was in this atmosphere of freedom that the meeting happened, the one that changed everything. Carlos Morales was a hard-working architecture student who also worked in sailing and dreamed of starting his own architecture practice. He was 6 years younger than Alexia, which at the time was considered quite unusual for a royal relationship. No one could have predicted that this modest young man would one day become the husband of a Greek princess. Their meeting in 1994 marked the beginning of one of the most beautiful modern love stories in European royalty. Carlos wasn't intimidated by his beloved's royal status, and Alexia found in him the qualities she valued most: sincerity, reliability, and the ability to love her simply as a woman, not as a princess. The young couple spent their time strolling through Barcelona's old streets, visiting museums, and enjoying the simple joys of everyday student life. When the time came for Carlos to meet Alexia's family, things got serious. He had to be introduced to her parents, the former king and queen of Greece, who had lost their throne in 1974, but had retained all the traditions and dignity of royal life. The meeting took place at the Meravent Palace in Mallorca, the traditional summer residence of European nobility. Constantine and Anne-Marie were pleasantly surprised by their daughter's choice. Carlos made a wonderful impression with his sincerity and his obvious love for Alexia. The royal couple even decided to meet the family of their future son-in-law, which was quite an unusual step. They traveled to Lanzarote, where they met Carlos's parents, Miguel Morales, a civil servant, and Maria Teresa Quintana, a homemaker. "It was quite funny," Alexia recalled. "The only challenge was the language barrier, because Carlos and I had to keep translating everything." That meeting fully convinced the Greek royals that their daughter had made the right choice. They saw in Carlos a man with strong principles, a loving son, and a reliable partner for their daughter. The wedding took place on the 9th of July, 1999, in the Orthodox Cathedral of St. Sophia in London, and it became one of the most talked-about society events of the year. Over 23,000 flowers decorated the cathedral, and among the guests were representatives from all the royal houses of Europe. Queen Elizabeth II attended the ceremony along with Prince Philip and Prince Charles, emphasizing the event's significance across European royalty. Alexia looked stunning in a gown made of white satin. On her head sparkled the Khedive tiara, a family heirloom that once belonged to her great-grandmother, Princess Margaret of Connaught, Queen of Sweden. The Orthodox ceremony added a unique solemnity to the moment, blending ancient tradition with a modern love story. After the service, 300 guests made their way to a lavish reception at Kenwood House, a beautiful estate on the outskirts of London. The wedding was remembered not only for its elegance, but also for the genuine joy shared by the newlyweds, who could finally begin their life together. The first years of their marriage were spent in Barcelona, where their first 2 daughters were born, Arietta in 2002 and Anna Maria in 2003. However, the constant attention from the press pushed the couple to make a life-changing decision to move to Lanzarote. In Carlos's homeland, They found the peace and privacy they had been seeking. Carlos opened his own architecture firm and began working on important local projects, including the Palace of Congresses and the expansion of the sports marina. His professional achievements proved that his success came from his own talents, not from his royal connections. In Lanzarote, the couple welcomed 2 more children, their son Carlos in 2005 and their daughter Amelia in 2007. All 4 children received a regular education and lived a life as close to normal as possible. Their godparents included close friends and relatives, such as Infanta Cristina and Infanta Elena. Island life allowed the family to enjoy life's simple pleasures: the sea, the sun, long walks, and precious time together. Carlos continues to work as an architect, designing projects that blend beautifully with Lanzarote's unique landscape. Alexia has dedicated herself to raising their children and supporting charitable causes, always staying true to her values of discretion and family. Today, Alexia and Carlos remain one of the most stable and harmonious couples in European nobility. Their story proves that true love and mutual respect matter far more than titles or lineage. They've built a family based on simple yet essential values: love, honesty, hard work, and loyalty. Their marriage is a shining example of how one can protect their privacy and enjoy a normal family life, even as part of a royal dynasty. Alexia and Carlos chose a path that allowed them to be, first and foremost, loving partners and caring parents, and only afterward, members of royalty. And perhaps that is the true secret behind their happiness, which has lasted for more than 25 years.